The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
It is time for the top 5 at 6 for your Labor Day weekend. Number 5, looking back, boy, yesterday was a heater. Weather came in no one's business. I actually came by the station yesterday afternoon, had to pick something up. I walk in the parking lot, and the second I closed my door, just a monsoon rolled in.
Yeah.
I drove home and with the hazards on. It was such heavy rain. Tornadoes were actually sighted throughout yesterday evening in the Twin Cities Metro. Isanti along County Road 5 East, and then one up in North Branch. 2 tornadoes right there yesterday.
Yeah.
Several in Wisconsin, Hammond, Wisconsin, to be specific. Minnesota State Fair and the Gopher season opener. They were thinking about having to delay. As it turned out, Motley Crue did go on as planned. Gophers pushed their kickoff back to 8 p.m. due to the weather from 7.
Unfortunately, they did get that kickoff in.
Oh, speaking of number 4 of the top 5 at 6, Gophers got beat by the Tar Heels.
Gophers.
Not in basketball, but in football. So last night, 1917 Tar Heel victory. Tar Heel kicker Noah Burnett made 4 field goals, one of them with 1:44 to go. Let's see. There was a Gopher field goal from 47 yards to win the game. As time expired, it went wide right.
Dragon
It was a hell of a season, Congratulations to the Gophers.
They got a lead with 3 minutes and 40 seconds and gave it back to the, again, Tar Heels.
Maybe next
football.
year.
Maybe next year, Minnesota. Number 3 on your top 5 at 6. Public school testing. Hang on. Respect. Thank you. Testing results are in. The latest Minnesota test score data shows roughly half of public school students who took a standardized test during the last year were reading at grade level, but the math numbers struggled a bit.
I think you just said the reading numbers struggled a bit. Did you say half of the students could read?
About half can read at the level they are, yeah.
About half. All right. It makes sense. We spend practically nothing on education here in the state. Oh, wait a second. We spend more than just about any other state on education and made a huge investment. Maybe it's not about money. Maybe it's about teaching the kids. I don't know.
As a guy who came out of the South, I can tell you, don't cut the budget. You can do something, but don't do that. Trust me when I say.
I can tell you, as a guy that has lived in Minnesota for nearly 30 years, don't keep adding to the budget.
Number 2 on your top 5 at 6, the Renaissance Festival in Shakopee this weekend.
Huzzah.
Dust off your codpiece, pull on some tights, and meet me with a turkey leg.
Oh, man.
Brothers and sisters, I'm looking forward to some flagons of wine, some hot wenches. That's actually not true. I'm not going, but a lot of people are because it's a big deal. I've never been to a Ren Fez.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to one of these days, but every time one pops up, I go, maybe next year.
I will tell you, I've just found myself at different summer vacations in different areas. Oh, there's a little Renaissance Festival, and the kids always want to go, so I take it to them. Nothing really compares to the Minnesota Renaissance Festival. It is its own thing, like the State Fair. They just do it bigger and better in
really?
Minnesota.
So maybe I might have to.
It's a big deal, and you can get yourself drunk there in a variety of different ways.
Sure.
But the jousting down there, that's a thing. They do it. I mean, they get the big horses. They've got the armor on. They've got
no kidding.
Of course, obviously, they're not, impaling each other. They've
jousting.
got the breakaway.
Here's a fun fact. The official state sport of Maryland.
No kidding.
I'm not making that up.
The joust.
Yeah.
Right.
I love it.
Hey, first things first, Lakeville, good morning. A lot of listeners down in Lakeville, and we want to let you know we appreciate you being with us. Anybody ever have any trouble in Lakeville?
But the only time Taylor was ever arrested was in Lakeville. Got her minor down there.
All right.
I was ready to unload on her. I'm like, Taylor got busted for drinking, underage drinking. Oh, we've got to nip this in the bud before it gets out of control. And mom said, yeah, her blood alcohol was 0.001 or something.
Ooh.
I'm like, what, did she have a beer at 1 o'clock? Then I was a little disappointed. Yeah, I'm like, are you sure?
If you're gonna get the ding on the record, earn
give your name back.
Number 1 on your top 5 at 6. Jaron Hall, we hardly knew ye. Au revoir, my friend. The Minnesota Vikings, a bit of a surprise to me.
That's weird.
They waived Jaron Hall and signed Brett Ripien. Oh, good God almighty. I didn't even know he still played football.
He won a Super Bowl with the Redskins, didn't he?
That was Mark Ripien. That was 30 plus years ago.
Right.
Could you imagine if it was? Look like me out there, 59 years old.
What about Doug Williams? Is he still out there?
Sam Darnold is your starter. Nick Mullins is the backup. And from that point on, Kevin O'Connell did say, I fully believe in Jaron Hall's future, which is what you say when you send someone packing.
Yes, right.
Best
Thanks,
of luck.
Coach.
I believe in his future as long as he's not wearing my team's uniform.
As
All
a
right,
car salesman.
that's kind of tough. Hey, if you failed to get your job done during the day, how long would it be until your coworkers noticed you were not quite as productive as normal? That's a question for the day. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Billy Squires, The Stroke, makes me want to lace up the cleats and play some soccer. That was my 11th grade high school soccer team's theme song for the season. Oddly enough, we were doing the summer practices, the two-a-days in August.
Yeah.
And a guy on our team had a pickup truck with the loudest car stereo ever made at that time. And he would blast down the driveway to the school every morning, get there right at like 7:59. And he played that song every morning, racing up the school driveway, louder than a stadium PA.
You know, it has that backward drum thing, the sort of that anthemic,
Yeah.
I guess I get it. Maybe he was just a pervert.
He was just a weird guy. Well, his name was Johnny Walker, and we didn't call him Red or Black. We called him Wild Man.
Wild
That
Man.
was his nickname.
Wild Man Johnny Walker.
But that became the theme of the summer two-a-days. And then before the first game, we were in the huddle, and we all just started going, stroke me, stroke me. And we did it all season. And I often wonder, what were the parents of the other, what were any parents? Are they all chanting stroke me, stroke me?
Yeah.
It was a weird time.
That would be awkward to look over and see Mama Dottie
Were we ever so
pumping
young?
her fist, stroke me. All right.
Well, I don't know that they were joining in. I think they were just more confused. But we'll see. You never know. One never knows. A quick question: If think about just think about this. Think about like the worst job you ever had in terms of you were just watching the clock. You didn't have a whole lot you had to do.
Yeah.
But it was like you just had to kind of look busy. How long could you go if you did like nothing before anybody would notice? Like, hey, you haven't done anything lately. I wonder how long that would be. The reason I ask is a Wells Fargo employee at a Wells Fargo corporate office in Tempe, Arizona, was just discovered at her desk in her cubicle, dead.
Oh.
She'd been there for 4 days.
Oh, 4 days.
Not 4 hours.
Oh, there's
4 days.
Nothing sad or pathetic about that. I bet her cats were starving.
Nobody noticed that she wasn't clacking the keyboard or responding to an email. 4 days in a building with other employees working at their desks.
You got the door closed.
Whoa.
The cube life, you just buckle down and mind your own cube there, mister. Don't worry about what's going on in the other cube. We have a little bit of audio here.
Prudhomme's cubicle was reportedly on the 3rd floor and away from the main aisle. This employee says several people had smelled a foul odor, but passed it off as faulty plumbing.
Body was there about 4 days before anybody found it, before anybody walked up to her and just to say hi, make sure she's okay. She was just laying on her desk.
Oh, that's so sad.
That really is. 60-year-old woman just laid out dead, and her cubicle was off of the main hallway, they said.
Yeah.
But still. I mean, like, it's just, and it's not like she got there Friday afternoon and it was during the work week.
Maybe she was in HR. No one wants to bother anyone in HR, right?
Could have been. You know what? Could have been.
Hey, haven't heard from HR in a few days. That's a good thing.
I saw the headline and I was like, that's a weird story. So I Google Wells Fargo, and the first thing that comes up is Wells Fargo ordered to pay $3.7 billion for widespread mismanagement of auto loans, mortgages, and deposit accounts. And dead people. That doesn't say that in the article. But I'm like, hey, Wells Fargo, little less time paying off all your malfeasance and a little more time checking in on your dead employees.
God, don't they have like a custodial staff?
Yeah, right.
You would
Who's
think.
Cleans up at
around
night.
there? Right.
One would think. I've had jobs where I literally slept for most of a shift before. I told you that I worked at a place called Executive Library Services. I would just sit and put my head down on a desk in a law firm's library and I'd be drooling into their documents. I mean, just like out of it. But it never for more than but at the end of the day, somebody would have noticed, hey, that that dude with the ponytail is asleep. Wake him up.
Let me tell you about a little occupation called the Army. I know what the commercial said. Before 9 a.m., we get more things done than most people do all day.
Be all you can be, Brian.
I was all I could be. I was napping away. I mean, a lot of days were just, hey, keep yourself busy. And I found amazingly creative places to sleep.
What happened to not on my watch?
Yeah, well, on my watch, go ahead. What happened?
Well, actually,
when you're out in the field, when you're the perimeter, you're playing your war games or whatever. I love that stuff. I got after that stuff, but there were just a lot of days where it was cleaning. Everything was cleaning. You clean, and cleaning to me meant go find a place to sleep.
I think what it means is you sit down at your desk, you put your left hand down first, right hand over it, so that your forehead doesn't hit your wristwatch.
Right.
Not on my watch when I go to sleep.
Don't pass out on my watch.
Pretty sure that's exactly what that means. Hey, we've been asking our listeners to pick only 4 classic rock bands that will end up on KQ's Mount Rushmore of classic rock. The votes from all of our listeners are in. Thank you very much. And we are about to reveal the top 4 artists one at a time over the next 4 days. At 9:20 a.m.-ish every morning, we're going to announce. And today we're kicking it off. So be with us at 9:20 this morning. We will announce the first artist to be carved into the KQ Mount Rushmore of classic rock.
I'm excited because I think I got extra creative on this one. I voted for all 4 versions of Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Right. Yes, indeed.
Really the most
I
recent.
like that. Sometimes Ed King's there, sometimes he's not.
Yeah, I'm getting stoked for the show tonight.
Wow,
what can I
that's
say?
fantastic. It's time to look back. On this day, August 30th, 1979, in one of the all-time great and most tumultuous U.S. Open tennis matches, Ilie Nastase lost to John McEnroe in 4 sets. Both players cussing each other out, cussing members of the crowd out, screaming at the chair ump. It was a live televised match that night, and the network apologized regularly. In fact, there was a 20-minute delay at one point while fans erupted, tossing beer cans and other trash on the court. This is the U.S. Open.
That's in New York, baby.
Yeah, and
it's McEnroe.
At one point, Nastase was held in default by the chair ump, but then the referee's the guy who sits in the stands and makes sure he's above the ump. Okay. The referee came down and reinstated him and said, hang on, we're overreacting, let's keep it calm. And then the trash is flying, the beer cans. An absolutely great night of television. The tennis was secondary. McEnroe in rare form, of course, but he did get the win in 4 sets.
No mistakes whatsoever.
Second stuff, please.
Answer my question! The question, jerk! You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Man, I miss it.
I'm going to find a couple of minutes later today and just YouTube McEnroe famous outbursts.
Does any sport miss one athlete more than tennis misses John McEnroe? They've had the 5 greatest tennis players of all time have played in the last 30 years, and I don't know any of them.
Right. Yeah, right, exactly.
Sorry. Bunch of just vanilla ice cream cones out there playing amazing tennis.
And then, of course, you'd see him out there against Bjorn Borg, who never had a facial expression and just won everything and just looked dashing, of course. But then McEnroe would play Connors. I mean, oh my God, even Dad wanted to watch that.
I went to an exhibition match about 6 or 7 years ago, McEnroe v. Connors. And,
really?
And I've known McEnroe for years because he's a huge music fan. I've met him at gigs and we've spent a lot of time together. But I'd never met Jimmy Connors before. That was actually I was like, oh my God, that's actually Jimmy Connors. And they come on the court together and they're just laughing. It's all fun and games now. I mean, McEnroe's in his 50s, Connors in his late 60s, and McEnroe's just boat racing him without any effort. Connors is getting mad at himself, but it really, and it's fun. It was just an exhibition. It was all good. But just seeing those 2 guys on the court and they're both holding tennis rackets before they'd even started, I was like, oh my God. It was like looking at Adam and Eve or something. I don't know. It's like there's John and Paul. What the hell are they doing here? On this day in 1987, the Minnesota Twins beat the Brewers 10-6. Kirby Puckett had a day. He went 6 for 6 with 2 dingers. Good God, Kirby.
He did that regularly.
Yeah, he really did. Career batting average of 318, 207 home runs, but I would have thought it was 400, honestly.
Yeah.
He's not that huge a guy. 207 home runs, and 100 of them were important. That's what I'll say that. Half his home runs really mattered because every time that guy hit one, I was on the other side going, oh, no, not again.
Clutch.
What a badass he was.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. You're listening to the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zepp, Tony, and Ryder on 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good Friday morning. It is August 30th. That is Labor Day Friday. This is a Labor Day weekend, and we certainly hope everybody has... if you don't have
wonderful labor,
if you don't have strong plans already, you got time to make them. But we hope everyone has a great long weekend.
Yeah, no, I would always do that too. I think, I got nothing to do this weekend, and I got a 3-day weekend. You got to slap something together here, Zepp. Do not squander this 3-day weekend. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, a friend would call and invite me to something, and I would say, I'm busy.
Oh God, yeah.
No, yeah. I don't want to do that.
What's better? The idea, getting that phone call and making a great plan, or getting that phone call and just going, sorry, can't make it. It changes over time, doesn't it?
Yeah, sometimes, just going into the weekend with anything possible, anything can happen. What could possibly go wrong?
There was a poll. We talked about it last year. I just remember somebody was asking people about those unexpected pleasures in life, and number one was, it doesn't matter what it is when a plan is canceled. It's like, even if it's something you're looking forward to, when your friend calls and goes, hey, that's off, no matter what it is, most people are like, oh, nice.
It's a relief.
Yeah.
And then you might have the blowback of, oh, wait, I was actually looking forward to that. But the immediate effect is sweet.
Yeah. Or when you've made a plan, one of those rare moments, you just have a feeling of inspiration and camaraderie, and you know what, we should do that this weekend. Yeah, let's do it. And then the day before they say we can't make it, and you're like, oh, thank God.
Or you come up with a great excuse.
When I have the best ideas and then I do the worst thing, which is make plans around them, is like, I do a lot of walking, or if I'm working out or a walk, when I get when I get the heart rate up and I get the blood flowing and the endorphins are kicking in, and I finish like a 4-mile walk, a power walk, and I'm feeling good, I will literally sit down and be like, oh, you know what? It's time I did. And then the next day I wake up, I go, I'm not doing that. What the hell is wrong with me? When I'm on fire, when I am just going and feeling good and my blood's flowing, I commit to all kinds of crap. If you call me at the end of a walk, whatever you ask me to do, I'm going to go, yeah, man, it sounds amazing. Yeah. And then all I need to do is go to sleep, and then I wake up the next day when just existential dread comes over me. Oh, my God, why did I say I would do that?
I'm exactly the same way, but with drinking. The answer is always yes. And then the texts start coming in over the next several days. Dude, can't wait to see you on what? Hey, man, I'm so excited you're going to join our thing on Saturday. What? What did I say?
We've all committed to things. Drinking. Here's a question. Ever booked a flight while drunk and woke up the next day and gone, oh, no, I can't take that trip?
I don't immediately remember that. Have you?
I didn't book it, but I had it there, and I put it on hold. I did. I was drunk enough to think it made sense, and sober enough to put it on hold. And the next morning when I woke up, though, it took me, I was like, what's this email from Delta saying my flight's on hold? I didn't book. And then I went back, I opened up the browser, and I'm like, oh my God, I was so ready to go to, I don't even remember where I was going. I was just so glad I hadn't done it.
No, I just make dates.
Yeah.
Is that it? I subsequently can't make.
See, it's fun like that, though.
Yeah, it keeps it interesting.
Feeling good, the inspiration. That you got to just ride on those fumes, whether it comes through or not.
How has someone not come up with the breathalyzer app for your phone, where you need to blow into it to operate it? Sorry, you're too drunk to use your phone, Brian. Turn on the TV and go to bed.
That would really, really, really be great. There's a lot of jobs I've had over the years where you think they look amazing, and then you get them, and you're like, oh.
Right.
I mean, like going back, as a kid. I mean, like if you had told me at any time in my life until it started, hey, one day you're going to work at a really cool record store, I would have been like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I mean, a week into that, I'm like, God, this job sucks. And it's a record store I used to go into all the time and think about how cool it would be to work there. But the minute you're working there, you blow it.
In the movies, there's
it.
always something going on. It's a lot of fun. The camaraderie. People are, I don't know what, but then in real life, you're just sitting behind a counter waiting for someone not to come in the door.
The jobs, they look so attractive. So if money was no object, what job do you still look at and go like, that would be cool, even though no job is as cool as you think it is.
Yeah. What
do you think would be a great job? There's and I'm asking this because a whole lot of people are weighing in. We're looking at a poll on social media. The number one job that people think would be attractive: traveling food critic.
All right.
I can see it.
Yeah, being like Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
Do they eat for free?
Seeing the world.
I'm assuming you eat for free.
Oh, all right.
Well, to your point, if you're Anthony Bourdain, then you have to add best-selling author, TV host, and all-around cool dude. You gotta. There's a lot in that.
It's just a fantasy game.
Just a standard traveling food critic. Sure. I mean, I get it. But
like
after
food.
a while.
Yeah. I mean, I like it when other people make food for me and I don't have to pay for it.
Very true. Forest ranger, very high on the list. Again, we're talking about, say, money doesn't matter. What looks like a great job? Forest ranger.
Yeah, I found myself without job in 2017, and so I went through a little bit of hey man, what do I want to do? What is it I dig? And forest ranger came up somewhere along. I like being out in the mountains. I like being out in the woods. Why not forest ranger? And so I started doing a little Googling, and it turns out there's a lot of work involved.
There really is.
I thought it was just like, that way, kids, over there. You know what? I'm just going to go walk out through the forest today. Anyone want to join me? No. Especially not if you're getting started. You're carrying a chainsaw up a mountain.
Yeah.
And, clearing trails and picking up rocks and
bugs.
Yeah, and picking up bugs.
I had one encounter with a forest ranger at Yosemite once, and we were at a campsite, and this guy showed up, and he's wearing his shorts, his hiking boots, he's got his holster, his badge, his cool hat, the whole vibe, right?
Yeah.
Woodsman. And it was like an 8-mile hike up to the place where we were camping, and he was talking to us, and then he got a call, like on his walkie-talkie, and he said, I got to run down to, and he had to go to a place that was down the trail 3 miles. And he said, got to run. I got to go handle this. And I kid you not, in about less than an hour, he was back.
Yeah.
And we were like, wait, hold on. You just went down the trail 3 miles and then came back up the trail 3 miles. And in the middle, you dealt with what you had to deal with. And he was like, yeah. I'm like, that's, wow, okay, never mind. You're just a badass.
Yeah, they're a different breed.
And like you said, he wasn't carrying a chainsaw, but I guarantee you he's done it. Right up that 8-mile path.
Yeah, it's not just as lazy as it seems skiing. I love to ski, and I thought, but it's got to be a job in skiing. No one's going to just pay it recreationally ski, although there are professional skiers and free skiers that get to do that. But I thought there are these oldsters out there at these ski resorts that they put them in green jackets or whatever, and if you don't know, how do I get back to the main chalet? They'll point you in the right direction. I thought, well, that sounds like a good job. You just hang out all day and do some skiing, and and people ask you a question because you're in a green jacket. Well, you just go that way. I thought that might be a cool one, and I don't want to, but I'm sure it's probably a volunteer job. It's like working at the Twins. You see all those oldsters out there working at the Twins. They're working just go sit over here, information, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's probably, that's why they're all old. It's a retiree job.
That might make sense.
Just not quite there yet.
On this list also, it says freelance musician. Again, the key words are the money doesn't matter. Okay, I can see the appeal. I certainly can. I love playing music. It's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely, when I see that, I'm just like, oh my God.
But money doesn't matter.
Yeah,
all right, so
if the salary's not a prerequisite, then yeah, sure, that would be great.
All right, I'm going to point my finger at a ski resort for the day and just bounce around the mountain. That's a good one. You're a freelance musician. What about you, Anthony?
When I was a kid, I thought it'd be cool to work at the zoo.
Sure.
And I realized a lot of the work is cleaning up gigantic mountains of feces from bears.
Yeah, right.
Which sounds glamorous.
Yeah, right.
There's a kid, one of my older brothers had a good friend when we were all growing up together, and he ended up being the head of the bird department at the National Zoo in D.C. He ran it for decades.
Yeah.
He's an ornithologist. Isn't that the word? Yeah. And so he was the guy, he ran the bird department. And And so several of my brothers, if they were ever in the area, would go and he'd give you the backstage tour and you'd see all the stuff behind the zoo. And I never took advantage of it, and I really wish I had now. It's one of those regrets. Like, why didn't I go see? I could have gone into seen those pandas and stuff.
Backstage
hung
at
out
the
with
panda
backstage at the zoo. Come on, man.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
But he was dealing with birds, so I imagine it wasn't quite the same level of, I got to go scoop more poop now. It's not like you're with the elephants or the hippos.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, did see at a zoo once a rhinoceros relieve himself. First came the pee, and watching a rhino pee, it's as if an animal has unleashed a fire hose from its ass, because they mark rhinos love to mark everything. Yeah. This guy was literally standing there just blasting a fire hose level of urine straight back.
Wow.
Oh, straight
back. It
went not down.
And then he walked around and then did a little wide swinging around, a little bit to the left, a little to the right. And then he decided to let loose with a dump, and it was just unlike I've never experienced anything like it. It was just it was like watching a dinosaur or a space alien do things that were kind of similar, but nothing like I'd ever seen before.
Did you make eye contact?
No, God, no. I was afraid I'd never get out of that zoo. I'd be stuck there. There's an old wives' tale. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you make eye contact with a gray rhino while he's taking a dump, you will turn to salt. Isn't that in the Old Testament?
I didn't get all the way through the Old Testament, but it sounds about right.
Yeah, there's got to be something along those lines there. I'm saying. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Morning shout out to Mounds View. What's happening up in Mounds View? Good to know that we got some listeners out in Mounds View. On the KQ Talking text line, had a text from Mike in Mounds View, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, Mike and everyone else in Mounds View, good morning.
Nearby, practically a neighbor.
KQ up north, a little farther north than Mounds View. We're all heading up past Brainerd Way, everybody. October 3rd through the 6th at Cragen's Resort on Gull Lake. We're going to have a great weekend. There's going to be a karaoke party. You can sit in for a live broadcast of this show. Book your stay right now, 92kqrs.com, sponsored by our friends at Hoffman Weber Construction. And, of course, Cragen's Resort on Gull Lake. That is right there in Brainerd. That's a weekend to look forward to.
Yeah.
For the record, flipping channels about a week ago and Fargo was on.
Yeah.
And of course, we got to watch this till it ends. And we were only about 15 minutes in, and we just sat there for the next hour and 20 minutes and just watched it like I've never seen it before, just washing over me. Absolutely incredible.
That's my next binge, I guess.
Every single time. Boy, I tell you, you think fireflies are cool. Wait till you hear about fireworms. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talking text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Good Friday morning. It's Labor Day weekend Friday, which is always kind of nice to recognize, hey, got a little extra time. Most of us will not be working. I mean, there are people who will be working Monday, and we appreciate it. But
keep the wheels of commerce turning out there.
For a lot of folks, it's a 3-day weekend. We hope everybody's off to a great start already. Looking at the traffic reports you're giving, I'd say a lot of people are making this a 4-day weekend.
Yeah, and some people have just abandoned their vehicles and walked off into the weekend. I'm not sure what's going on there. That's it. I mean, no stop and go. They give us color codes on this old fancy traffic board. There is no red or black. You don't want red or black. Mm-hmm. No red or black on the board as of yet.
Walking off into the sunrise. That's a new one.
That's it.
Walk off into that sunrise. Have a great weekend. Unless, of course, you're down on the Gulf of Mexico around the Houston area. Corpus Christi, Port Aransas, Texas. Right there. Nice part of the world. Beautiful beaches. A lot of people don't realize if you're in Houston, you're very close to some very nice beaches.
Christi, yeah. I had a buddy that in the Army that retired down there after he did his 30 in the service, and I went down and visited him, and I had no idea.
Yeah, very
beautiful.
Sweet. If you're walking on the beaches in that area anytime soon, be careful. I'll just go ahead and read you the words from Texas A&M's Heart Research Institute for the Gulf of Mexico Studies. Here's what they just released. Warning, your worst nightmares are washing up right now. What might that be?
The Green Bay Packers winning the Super Bowl is washing up on the shores?
No, these are bristle worms. Marine They're called fireworms. That's what we call them. They're called something in Latin.
You had one in your mouth.
I call them fireworms. They are washing up on the beaches near Corpus Christi, as I said. They're called fireworms because of the, quote, pain they inflict on anyone that dares to touch them. It literally feels like fire for about 3 hours. These are the actual words from the...
And they come from the ocean.
They come right out of the Gulf and wash up on the beach, baby. They release a neurotoxin through their minuscule white bristles, and they extend when threatened and break off when touched. Fireworms typically cling to sites where other crustaceans are hunkered down. But coral reefs, rocky landscapes, seagrass, but right now apparently a bunch are washing up onto the beaches. If you step on a fireworm, I'm sorry to say, for all the urine fetish guys, you don't get to pee on your friend this time. It's not a jellyfish.
Son of a gun.
Disappointment.
Isn't that, you know what, isn't that, I keep meaning to, every time we hear about someone who says, if you get bit by a jellyfish or if you're stung by a jellyfish, you should have someone urinate on it. I keep meaning to just ask anytime anybody does I think I twisted my ankle. Can I pee on it? I just want to be the guy that says that every time and I always forget to do it. I just think it'd be funny. Michael Douglas.
I don't know if he had to pee on someone, but he was quite proud of it. I think it was his son or something. They were out on the beach, and his kid stepped on he goes, I peed on his foot or something like that.
They always say that's what you do. I think I have a toothache. Really? Would you like me to pee on it? I'm just saying we could just turn this into some great shtick.
I appreciate the offer.
Would you? Hey, sorry to hear you're in pain. Would you like me to pee on that?
Let's pee on it.
I have something in my eye.
That's a T-shirt waiting to happen.
Lower
right
back's
there.
been bothering me a little bit, Steve.
Well, you know what? Next commercial break. You know what? I tell you what. I'm going to hit the water fountain. Give me about 20 minutes.
All right.
And I'll take that pain right away from you. I'll give you something else to think about.
Right.
No, if you step on a fireworm, don't turn to your friend and ask them to pee on you. Get some isopropyl alcohol or vinegar to the sting. They advise you also ammonia can help ease the pain. When you're putting ammonia on something to ease pain, that's we've lost the plot.
Bad pain.
Also, by the way, because they do leave bristles in your skin, put some adhesive tape and rip it off and try to pull the bristles right out.
All right, kids, we need the sunscreen. Grab the umbrella and the boogie boards. Don't forget the isopropyl alcohol and the adhesive tape for the fireworms.
How about just watch a movie? I mean, seriously, you're putting fireworms on beaches? I'm sorry, man. I am out.
I'm out during a fireworm season for sure. Anything, fire ants, those are bad. Fireball, anything with fire in the name.
Yeah, that's really true. It's hard to make
firecrack.
Well, I said fireflies are okay. That's the one. That's the one you can accept.
There it is.
A nice summer. What's better than a summer night full of fireflies?
Yeah. Fireflies good, fireworms bad.
I had an argument with someone who told me that firefly is not the same as a lightning bug. I said, yeah, lightning bug, no, it's different. It's two different types. One's a firefly, one's a lightning bug. And he turned out to be completely wrong because, of course, I had to look it up. I was like, dude, I'm telling you, there's not two different types of illuminating bugs flying around in the summer. It's just they're called different things in different parts of the country.
Good thing to fight about, though.
Yeah. It was a great thing to fight about. I mean, if you think about it, what's not a great thing to fight about?
True.
So the good news for anybody who does look down and recognize I've just stepped on a fireworm, it's not fatal, but you're gonna wish you died for a few hours there because it does feel like you're on fire.
Probably only take one. You need some latex gloves, those big, thick cleaning ones that Mom always kept under the kitchen sink. Grab a couple of those bad boys. Probably just one in your buddy's underwear.
Oof.
Swim trunks, maybe.
Oh my God!
That'll do the trick.
Think about it. The worst animal in terms of human fatalities every year, a mosquito. Around the world, up to 1 million deaths annually because of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
There's transporting all these diseases, of course. Malaria, the most famous one, that's had a huge impact on human populations in the world. But yeah, mosquitoes are. Every time.
He never does kill the sound effect.
Annually worldwide,
timing,
between
really.
750,000 and a million deaths a year. Still, those little bastard mosquitoes.
Good for nothing.
There are other animals that you got to be on the lookout for, of course. Not a lot of people don't realize this. At least 500 deaths annually in Africa at the hands and or paws and or stomping feet of hippopotamus.
Yeah.
Hippos
they're vicious.
Hippos love to kill people.
They get you in the water most often.
Oh, my God.
That's where
Forget it.
Although they have that burst of speed on land where they said faster than a racehorse, there for about, 20 yards or something like that. Their feet actually come off the ground.
You don't want to sprint with a hippo. You can distance, get them in a 10K, you can probably win that race.
Yeah.
The 100-meter, you're not going to get. You're going to be 21 meters in when that big sumbitch brings you down.
He's not going by you; he's going over you. But they get you in the water there, and they've got that big hippo mouth there, and they just
same number for elephants, hippos and elephants. Not the gentle giants we want them to be. About 500 people a year killed from both. There was a woman from Minnesota last year in Africa. Remember, she was on a safari, and an elephant just came rushing out of the brush and knocked over the vehicle she was in, and she was killed. There's an elephant sanctuary down. I used to live in Tennessee, and there's one there called Hohenwald. And a few years, it's giant, many acres of. It's huge. It's hundreds of acres.
I think that's where they took Stampy in the Simpsons episode.
Is that where it was?
I think they took him down there.
Stampy.
Yeah, remember Stampy?
Yeah, that's right. And the elephant, they rescue these elephants from two-bit circuses and stuff and these horrible situations, and then they live there and it's all good. But every now and again, hey man, you piss off an elephant. You don't get a second chance to piss off an elephant.
YouTube that. You see that stuff over in Thailand and some of those places. Pissed off elephant gets out on a rampage in a city and does some damage.
Here's another animal that I didn't realize killed so many people. Saltwater crocodiles, they say. And by the way, I'm getting this from BBC Wildlife. It's the BBC, so they're not making this up.
No.
Crocodiles, saltwater crocodiles, 1,000 deaths per year attributed to saltwater crocs.
I guess what surprises me about that is what the hell are you doing in water with saltwater crocodiles?
Thank you. And it says they generally are not hunting humans. It's just crimes, what they call crimes of opportunity. It's just someone's like, I'm in the kayak here, mate. Looks like, tipped over the kayak. I'm going to have to, they just show up and see, hey, I'll just eat that guy now.
Think about that easy meal. If you flip over in the kayak, you're a worm on a bobber.
Yeah.
That's all
that's
you
exactly
are.
What it is.
And it's not like the crocs are jumping up on the boats, but if you go wading into the water there, that's where they get you. They creep up on like the old log floating up on you and snap. But there again, not going wading in the saltwater river or ocean or area where there are crocs.
Michael Phelps, when he was breaking world records in the pool, his top speed, he has been recorded at just over 6 miles per hour while swimming.
Wow.
Saltwater crocs go 18 miles per hour.
That's
just saying, you're not going to outswim a saltwater crocodile.
You're no croc, Phelps.
No, exactly. You might be something.
Yeah.
How about this? How about scorpions? And I don't mean that rock band from Hanover, Germany. I'm not talking about Michael Schenker and what's his face.
He'll kick your
How many
ass.
deaths have been attributed to the scorps?
I'm talking about scorpions who kill 2,600 people a year.
Oh, that seems high.
Wow.
I didn't know they were killers. I thought scorpions were. Well, they always have a scorpion. Like the worst scorpion in the world, I'm sure, is a killer. But the ones they have here in the United States, out there in the desert Southwest, I mean, I think it's kind of like the fireworm. They just give you a real bad sting.
Yeah, no, this is, there are 25 species of scorpions that are, in fact, deadly to humans, but most of them are nowhere near us here in the United States. They're on other parts of the world.
I mean, I'm glad they floated the boats in this direction, to be honest with you. We got a few things, but not bad.
2,600 deaths attributed to scorpions, and every year there's at least 2 people who lose their hearing at the Scorpions concert. I was too close to the speakers and they blew out my eardrums. Oh, man. Steve, you're a good drummer, but you play with passion, but it's clear you've had no formal training. That's what the Michael Schenker Group's drummer, Bodo Schaap, the German drummer. He wasn't in Scorpions, but he was in a band with a guy that had been in Scorpions, I think. I don't know. I can't keep all those German rockers together. Guy in the Macaulay Schenker Group, which had been the Michael Schenker Group.
Yeah.
Their drummer said that to me. Steve, you play with passion, but you've clearly had no formal training. He goes, why don't you bring some sticks down? I'll show you some drills and some exercises. It could open up many doors in your playing.
That sounds like a cheap line, dude.
And I looked him in the eye. I said, man, that'd be awesome. I'll do that. I'll see you tomorrow. And then the rest of the tour, I never spoke to him again. Get away from me. German funk fusion drummer. And Fred Armisen later turned that guy into a character. Oh, good Lord. Now I'm really doing myself in. I've never even heard of this snake. And apparently, again, according to this, 130,000 deaths per year thanks to the saw-scaled viper, the world's most deadly snake in terms of mortality. What?
Right.
The saw snake viper, Africa, Sri Lanka, Indonesia.
Right.
Not going. Sorry.
Yeah, what is this? One of those little buggers that likes to get in the house and hide in a drawer or something like that?
Yeah, they're very aggressive, and also they are found in very highly populated areas. Like you see those, you go to Indonesia, there's just hundreds of millions of people living down there on all those various islands.
Take your word for it.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's what they tell me anyway. By the way, the number 9 on the list of most deaths a year, it's from other humans, of course.
Well, I mean, we're number 1, baby.
Yeah, we got to do what we got to do. I pretty much am I read something like that and I do just think to myself, yeah, Netflix, just chill out, get a beer, sit down, get on the couch. Yeah. No need to put myself at risk with all the animal kingdom that awaits me out there.
I'll take the good old garter snake any day.
It's funny because I do have my snake thing. I have dealt with many a garter snake. I know what those look like. Yeah. I know them on sight, and they don't freak me out.
No, they eat the bugs, and
good guys.
Yeah, good guys.
Good guys. Those
that's
garters.
the word on the
friends.
street. Yeah, exactly. Still, once they get in the basement, though, they've got to go. It's got to be a violent ending for them. We had a dirt cellar, and I remember when I was a kid, you'd turn that light on in the summer, and the floor would move with garter snakes.
I'm sleeping here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was fun.
They take out the bugs and insects, and they get out of the way. Sometimes a garter snake and a scorpion will square off. It's crazy to watch. They're so angry at each other, and I think they're so cute. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I just love the idea of a guy from the band Scorpions talking about scorpions. That should be a documentary on Nat Geo.
Yes.
I'm Klaus Meiner from the Scorpions. Today we're going to discuss scorpions, but not the kind that play flying V guitars and rock hard, but the kind that sting you. Ooh. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane? No, I rock you like a true scorpion stinger. If you step on my foot, put your foot down. I gotta move on. That's a road to nowhere right there. At least, well, who am I kidding? I think it's hilarious. If you're a fan of Willie Nelson, or Bob Dylan and or John Mellencamp, you're going to want to keep that radio dial right where it is. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zepp, Tony, and Ryder on Minnesota's Classic Rock. 92 KQRS.
It is Friday, August the 30th. Good morning. Happy Labor Day weekend, one and all. We've been doing something pretty cool. Lately, we've been asking our listeners to pick out 4 classic rock bands to go on KQ's Mount Rushmore of Classic Rock. The votes are in. Thanks to everybody who voted. We are going to reveal the top 4 artists one at a time over the next 4 days. Listen at 9:20 this morning when we announce the first artist to be carved into the KQ Mount Rushmore of Classic Rock. Spoiler alert, I'm just going to tell you right now, it is not going to be, our Mount Rushmore will not include Blue Oyster Cult.
No.
Sorry. I mean, for all you upstate New York Blue Oyster Cult fans,
what?
Sorry, no.
Did you forget about Godzilla?
Oh, my God. You know what?
Godzilla.
I did forget about it. Yeah. Oh, that's
Godzilla.
right. It is the Mount Rushmore of classic rock bands with Japanese words in their songs. That's right. We have to go back and rethink all of this.
Once again, I am going with all 4 versions of Leonard Skinner. But
very nice.
I'm just stoked about the show tonight.
September 6th, there's a little something going on over at the Somerset Amphitheater. That would be the Outlaw Music Festival. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp. Holy smokes, that's going to be a hell of a night. And right now, we would love to play a game. That's what we do around this time every day. We're going to give away a couple of tickets. Outlaw Music, Willie, Bob, and John. Callers 9 and 2 at 651-989-ROCK. Callers 9 and 2, 651-989-ROCK. We will lock you in. You will play a game. The winner will win tickets to that show. What could possibly be cooler than that?
Pretty cool.
Yeah, really, really cool. I did want to share one quick text. Earlier in the show, we talked about jobs that we think would be cool. Like, if money's no object, what job would you want? And I do like this text we got. Doggy daycare bus driver. I want to drive a short bus and pick up puppies in the morning and take them home in the evening. You know what? Yeah. I've seen that. There's places where, like, there's a doggy daycare. Yeah. It's like I saw one recently. It was up in Alaska. And, like, a guy just gets in a little bus and he just goes around the neighborhood and dogs run out, hop on his bus. They drive to daycare for the day. And then he drops them off. And I was like, yeah, good gig.
Is there a dog breed that doesn't poop?
No.
I would imagine that still involves picking up.
I bet most dogs realize, though, like waiting for the doggy daycare bus. Take care of that before you get on the bus.
You're right. Yeah,
they'll figure that stuff out.
Right, just a bunch of pups playing on the bus.
All right,
jumping all over each other.
Pups playing on the bus. You know what? I could drive a bus full of barking, yapping, and fighting dogs for hours. Put me in a school bus full of second-grade children. I'd last 1 minute.
Yeah, it's a whole different deal, isn't it?
1 minute, man. Yeah. I tell you what. We often say, teachers, you couldn't pay them enough. Bus drivers are right behind them, man.
Oh, yeah. I know. God, we put some of our bus drivers through a living hell. And then we had some bus drivers that you just sat down and shut your mouth.
I only rode the bus to school 1 year of my life in 5th grade, and Mrs. Sibley was her name, and she was like ironclad. She had she ruled that bus with an iron fist. No one backtalked Mrs. Sibley. She just had a vibe about her, like, you will not speak your mouth. And she barely opened her mouth when she spoke, and it was like her lower jaw moved, but the top didn't. So she kind of looked like a ventriloquist doll.
Yeah.
She just turned around and be like, you're going to get back in that seat and sit down. It was like, holy crap, look at that.
And we had Mr. Schumacher, and he was like a farmer that, I don't know, the government probably took his farm, and he was pissed off. And and he wasn't married either, but he was married at one point. And I was like, well, did they get a divorce? No. Did she die? No. I'm like, well, all right.
Yeah,
but he was.
You asked him all those questions?
And no, I asked my mom.
All right.
You didn't ask him any questions. That brake was a weapon. And that was a time when if you slammed on the brakes and literally threw every kid into the stairwell, where just all piled up in there like 15 kids deep, not one parent would complain or care if you complained. They'd be like, yeah, well, then sit down in your seat and shut up.
Stay in your seat.
But I grew up on the bus. We were the last stop. I was on an hour on the bus in and an hour on the bus out.
I can't imagine. I literally can't imagine.
Wow.
A lot happened on the bus.
The children are acting up on bus number 7. Let's get Herr Schumacher to drive the bus.
Oh, he would, man. Heavy on that brake.
You said that hitting a brake. My first day of school at a new school, the only time I had to take the bus, I had missed my stop because I didn't know the neighborhood yet. And I come walking up near the front and he hit the brake. And I slid the length of the bus, and I ended up under the dash by the pedals.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Smashed into that. Not only did he not say anything, nobody laughed or reacted. I just got up and got off the bus. I'm like, what the hell?
Sure.
At least laugh. Have something happen. It was horrible.
Man, I mean,
humiliating.
Tony Lee is living for the laugh. And that's one of your great performances.
The great pratfall on the bus.
Man, that is a rough one. All right, we got a couple callers ready to play a game for these tickets, Tony. What game are we going to play today?
This is going to be odd, fun, and weird. Yeah, it's time to test your knowledge, your ability to guess at random trivia. Now, usually there's a monkey in studio, but today we've lured a State Fair carny worker here, strapped him to a metal chair, right?
Yeah, if the tilt-a-whirl a little late getting started this morning, you'll understand why.
Oh, my God.
Now, every time you get the question right, you get to send 2,000 volts of electricity up the carny's spine. It's fun. Let's play.
Now, hold on here. I didn't know I was going to get shocked. I thought I was just getting free salmon.
I think they like it.
Free salmon?
Have you got any more?
Salmon.
Sandwich, a breakfast sandwich.
Oh,
I was hoping to get some sausages on the sandwich. Now I'm going to get 2,000 volts for what now?
What the hell?
Okay, shock the carny, man. I am down for this. Who is contestant number one?
First up, John for a Big Marine Lake.
John,
John,
good morning, sir.
Good morning.
John, give me your favorite band.
Favorite band by far is the Eagles.
By far. Give me your favorite team, any sport. Do not say the Philadelphia Eagles. That would just be too
I'm
weird.
going to stick local as I can with my Forest Lake Rangers.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Go Rangers. All right, John, we're going to play Shock the Carny. We've got a man sitting in a chair right here. He's a tweaker, and he needs some volts of electricity, so good luck to you.
Here we go.
All right, John, here we go. The character that Will Ferrell plays in the movie Anchorman is named Ron Jeremy. True or false?
Shock 'em. False.
Here we go. We got a winner right here.
John, please tell me, John, that you knew that answer because you're a big Anchorman fan.
Repeat.
No, I'm gonna let it go. I'm just saying, are you a big Anchorman fan, or do you know Ron Jeremy's work?
We're moving on.
Yep.
Leave the man alone. Number 2.
Thank you.
Thank you. He was quite a creator. In addition to the iron plow and a macaroni machine, our third U.S. president, Thomas Jefferson, invented the swivel chair.
Yeah, he was real good. He liked to swivel around.
Here we go. We got a winner right here.
Wow. 2 for 2, John. He did invent the swivel chair?
Yeah, he did.
I never knew that.
Well, now you do.
I had no idea either. I'm just winging it.
You just know he's a Renaissance man. Fair enough. Well played, sir.
You know who else used a swivel chair was Ron Jeremy, I believe. Also,
Saw Ron Jeremy at a car dealership once. I
did you really?
Yeah.
Did you say, hey, what's up, human hedgehog?
I was looking at him. I was like, I know that guy. Oh, my God. It was like I just walked out of the room. Like, ugh.
Number 3, John, is in the human body. Skin is considered the largest organ. Now, the second largest organ is the liver.
Zap. No way.
I'm sorry, that is correct.
Yeah, that's right.
The liver is-
Uh-oh.
I've stumbled across that little nugget myself over time. John, you're 2 for 3.
Sorry.
You're still doing great, brother.
Number
All right, I'm in there
4.
yet.
All right, Johnny boy. The cereal superstar Captain Crunch was actually not a captain at all, but a doctor with a PhD in agriculture, specifically corn cultivation.
Oh, yeah. That's him.
No, that is not.
The only thing funnier than
He is not a doctor.
the only thing funnier than Tony's, question there was John. Oh yeah, that's him. Got him. Nailed him.
He's
Dead
not
to
a doctor.
rights.
Hey, he's
That's
not.
great.
He's not real.
That's great.
Number 5, the destructive, villain of the movies Avengers, Infinity War, and Infinity Endgame, the evil Thanos, had a less than powerful brother named Sherman.
Zap might say no.
Here we go. We got a winner right here.
Correct. He did not have a brother, Sherman.
I'm still not used to the carny. Here you go. We got a winner. That's great.
Zap him.
Your last one, we're going to throw in some Minnesota State Fair trivia. At the 1906 Minnesota State Fair, the St. Paul Growers Association built a model of the state capitol made out of onions.
No.
I'm sorry, sir. That is true.
Man.
They built it out of onions, but you still did very well.
3 for 6. That's pretty good around these parts.
Yes, sir.
John, well
I'm
played.
halfway there.
Yeah, we're gonna put you on hold for a moment. We're gonna move on to contestant number 2. Tony, who do we have?
Our buddy Mike from Apple Valley.
Mike, good morning.
Mike!
You with us, Mike?
Oh, for cripe's sake, Mike.
Oh, Mike, baby. Can you
No,
hear
Mike.
us?
No, Mike.
Oh, Mike. got
No
dropped.
caller.
Mike dropped the mic, or we dropped Mike.
He did drop the mic. Should Zep play in Mike's proxy, or should we try to get another caller in here?
I don't know. I'd like to get another caller.
Yeah,
let's
you know
get
what?
another
We
caller.
lost Mike. Real quick, 651-989-ROCK. We do need a second caller to call in right now. And that gives me a chance to say good morning to our friend Alice, who's listening up in Chisago City.
You did it!
I said it right. Yes. Chisago City. Now it's just a matter of Alice texted in, and Alice, I'm glad to know you're listening to the show. We're happy to have you with us today. Chisago City's up. What? You look confused.
No. I'm trying to remember there's a statue in town. Last time I was up there, somebody's like, Wilhelm Moberg, I think he was an author.
Okay.
I was like, oh, what did he write? And the guy, there was an oldster there in the park. He's like, I don't know, but Hitler used to burn his books. They must have been pretty good. I went, oh, all right.
Wow,
boy.
all right.
You'll find a suite up there.
Yeah, that'll
Chisago
work.
City.
Chisago City, good morning. And again, to Alice, we appreciate you listening and being with us. So John went 3 for 6 in Shock the Carney. We're lining up a second caller right now. We'll see if they have what it takes to win those Outlaw Festival tickets. Tony, who do we have?
We have our buddy John from Colfax.
John from Colfax. Good morning, John.
Morning.
All right, brother, give me your favorite band all time.
ZZ Top.
That'll work. Are you going to see him tonight, by chance?
Oh,
Guess not.
since I'm from Wisconsin, I'll go with the Green Bay Packers.
Okay, and the Packers.
Yeah.
We're just moving right along. All right, John, it's time to play Shock the Carney. Good luck, sir. Tony's going to lead you right down the gilded path to success, hopefully.
All right, John, my man, number 1. The Pink Floyd album that features a prism bending light on the cover is titled Rock and Roll High School. True or false?
False.
Here we go. We got a winner right here.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very well done.
Dark Side of the Moon. Number 2. Before facing more serious charges recently, actor Alec Baldwin was kicked off an American Airlines flight for refusing to stop playing the online game Candy Crush. Is that true or false?
Oh, true.
I'm sorry, that is false. He wouldn't turn off his phone and stop playing Words with Friends a few years ago.
Like Alec Baldwin has any friends, please.
Just goof.
Playing
Right.
against himself. He had 2 phones.
Number 3, the tallest animal in the world is the Calunus, a predator marsupial found only in the outback. True or false?
False.
Here we go. We got a winner right here.
It is true. There is no such thing as a Calunus.
I'm just thinking of a marsupial that's tall.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I'm going to assume that's a giraffe would be tall. I don't know.
You're right. The giraffe is the tallest.
would hope so.
Stephen.
John's going to be using that at the local tavern tonight.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a Calunus. It's not real.
Foster Brooks just walked into the studio.
It's a myth. Number 4, in the show Jersey Shore, the guys in the house used the acronym GTL for their daily activity, which stood for Gym Tan Laundry. True or false?
Not a clue, so I'm going to say true.
Here we go. We got a winner right here.
Yep, Gym Tan Laundry.
Gym Tan Laundry.
Uh-huh.
God, the things you learn when you least expect it.
Number 5, John, the little man on the Pringles chip can actually has a name, and the name is Julius.
That's true.
Here we go. We got a winner right here.
Sure.
Wow. I love John. That's the one he knew without a doubt.
Certainty.
That's true. Yeah.
Those is Pringles.
Oddly enough, for some strange reason, I don't know why, but I heard that or read that, and I knew that one, yep.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And Tony's Facebook page.
Added in the bank, right? Your last one, some Minnesota State Fair trivia. In 1875, attendance to the Minnesota State Fair was dramatically reduced because of an influx of grasshoppers. Is that true or false?
No, that's false.
I'm sorry, it is true. So many grasshoppers.
What year was that?
Wow.
Well, back in 1875.
Well, that checks out.
Every 4 years. It's grasshopper year.
Back in them olden days. John, ZZ Top Packers, John, that is. 4 for 6. That's going to do it, brother. You have won tickets to see Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp, Somerset Amphitheater, September 6th. Congratulations. Thanks for calling in late and saving the game. John, Eagles Rangers fan. Sorry, brother. You did a great effort, but not quite enough today. But gentlemen, to you both, thank you for listening and thanks for calling in and playing. Wow.
Nice
Shocking
job.
the carny. I dig that. Man. I imagine carnies, it's kind of like roadies back in the day on rock tours.
Yeah.
Now they're actually called techs, and they're actual professionals. I don't think carnies are there still good old fashioned carnies, or are they guys?
Yeah.
That are,
Sure.
Yeah, just swing by the Midway when you're out. The fair
I didn't look
day.
at the rides really. I was just kind of focused on food, drink, and a gig I was going to see. I
think
didn't
you get
take
a
in the
mix
carny
of
scene.
folks, you know,
Okay.
they're gypsies. They're out there on the road, surviving any way they can.
Are there any tramps and/or thieves to go along with those gypsies?
I'd bet money on it.
Generally, at all times, looking for a share reference to drop in whenever I can.
Of course.
Hey, here's something you can do today if you're going to be up in Stillwater between 4 and 6. Why don't you meet up with our buddy Woody and our friends from Leinenkugels? They will be at the Cub Wine and Spirits in Stillwater for the final Leinie's stop of the summer. You go there, you'll have a chance to win concert tickets, Leinie's merch, as well as paddles, plus sample some of that Leinenkugels beer. Cub Wine and Spirits in Stillwater, Woody and Leinenkugels today from 4 to 6. We talk a lot on the show about our general quirks. We all have our own different things. There are certain brain quirks we all have that you probably are unaware of. Get ready to have your mind blown. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Good Friday morning, August 30th, Labor Day weekend. Last chance to get to the fair. The Minnesota State Fair. Looking forward, and I will be attending the fair over the weekend. I got one more trip in me.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be gonzo out there. But, you know, that's the way you want it. You want the nice weather, a little bit of heat to make things fun out there tomorrow, you know?
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking it's going to be more of a Sunday vibe for me.
That's going to be a cooler day.
Yeah.
It's going to drop back down in the 70s, just a little cloud cover.
Sure.
Got a destination in mind?
No, just gonna. I like to just throw caution to the wind and I'm a tumbleweed at that fair. I just every intersection I come to, I just turn left or right and wonder what's going to happen next.
Yeah, like the duck migration that will be coming back here in September. Sydney Zepp will be returning to Minnesota, as she does every year,
Nice.
for Labor Day. Sneaking in under the wire.
I like
for
that.
a Labor Day State Fair. So I think I'm going to get mobile for that and get out there for one more State Fair bellyache.
Very, very nice. Looking forward to it. We talk a lot on the show about all kinds of things, and you get to know us, and we get to know each other, and we're all just weird at the end of the day. But there's something that everybody shares. There's a few things about us, and specifically our brains, that we all have quirks, I'd like to call them. We all have certain things about our brains we probably don't realize. Here's the thing, and I have a weird memory. Like there's certain things,
Yeah, you do.
you know, 80s and 90s sports and music, nothing I need to know. I can't get rid of
What
it.
you were wearing in 6th grade
Yeah,
for
literally,
lunch
I've got
on
some-
May 17th.
Got some weird ones in there. However, but there's some things about memory and about our brains that we all have. Check this out. Your short-term memory has a maximum capacity of about 7 items it can hang on to short term. There's three types of memory. There's sensory, long-term, and short-term.
All right.
Okay? So long-term memory, that's like your hard drive space.
Yeah,
that's what
gone.
I'm trying to flush all this nonsense out of. Short-term memory works like a very small RAM. It's just like you need it for a few minutes. Short-term memory can only hold about 5 to 9, so the average is 7 items at a time.
Okay.
That's about it.
Kind of like my shopping basket.
Yeah.
I think about 7, 9 items in there, and then
Yep.
I'm done shopping. I'm just tuckered out. I mean, I don't even want to think about. I know there are other things I should get, but what I get in there, about 7 items. All right, short-term memory, like my grocery basket. I'm pretty solid on short-term memory. I do pretty well with short-term memory.
Not this guy.
Like, say, from one segment to the next, Steve.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah.
No, if I'm going to the grocery store, if Rosemary says we need, and it can be connected, she says we need peanut butter and jelly and bread, I have to write it down.
Yeah.
I do too. I write everything down. I have a pocket full of notes at all times.
I have a list. Yeah. When I say write it down, I mean I put it on a note in my phone. If I go to the grocery store if it's the once every week, get 15, 16 things, you have a list. But if I'm just running out to grab a couple things, I still have to put it on a note, and I have to delete each item as I go, because I cannot hold. You can give me 5 things that I know. And again, they can be like, get salt, pepper, peanut butter, jelly, and milk. And I will get to the store and go, oh, man.
Yeah, what was the 4th and 5th?
Every day on this radio show, we hit a commercial break, and then we'll be having a conversation. And how many times a day do I go, I'm sorry, say that again? Because I'm listening, and it's not going in. And I'm like, what's happening? Oh, I got to write it down.
That's the last thing Steve Gorman says right as the song's fading.
Every time.
What are we doing again?
What are we about to do here?
Yeah.
So, if I could hold 7 items at a time in my short-term memory, I'd feel like the king of the world.
Yeah. And give up maybe 700 in that long-term. See, I have no long-term memory. In fact, my short-term memory is, hourly almost. I mean, it's so short. I'm sitting here, I'm driving myself crazy because I watched something last night and I went, that was really, really good.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was. Saved my life.
February 25th, June 18th, July 7th, and October 9th. Why do I know the Beatles' birthdays?
Why?
There's no need. It doesn't help me at all. There's no reason. I can give you the years. I know Brooke Shields' birthday. Why? I don't need to know it.
What is it?
May 31st. There's no reason for me to know
You
this.
send a card every year.
My God.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
How about this? Your subconscious is a lot smarter than you are. or to say the very least, it's more powerful. They've done a lot of studies on this. There was one study, they said a square was assigned to a location on a computer screen through a complex pattern. And after watching it, people began to get results better than their chances of... They were trying to pick out where the square would pop up next, and people would get better results when they weren't thinking about it than when they consciously tried to determine where the square would next pop up. Like, you just watch it happen. I often, and this also goes to like your central nervous system, like your gut knows before your brain knows in life, generally speaking. They say like if you are somewhere and you somehow feel a little nervous or scared, you probably have a reason to.
Right.
Your central nervous system. Yeah, trust your gut. Your central nervous system knows that's not the right elevator, or don't walk down that alley, or whatever.
I'm still trying to remember that movie from last night, but if I try not to remember it, we're going to get on to something else here, and it'll leave the back of my mind. It'll pop right in there. The subconscious will release it for me.
I say it all the time. I'll remember as soon as I stop thinking about it, because that's exactly how that works.
Yep.
How about this? There are 2 nervous systems. One controls excitation and the other controls inhibition. It's weird. I mean, if you hold out your hand, sometimes you might notice minor tremors. This is caused by slight random differences in the amount each of the 2 systems are firing.
Okay. I might need more beer.
Yeah, man, no kidding. Oh, here's a good one. Speaking of memories, your memory isn't necessarily great. Even people with great memories, oftentimes, they just think they have a great memory. Studies have shown people are highly likely to misremember past events.
Oh, my God, that's me. I mean,
Very
my long-term
likely.
memory is all fantasy. It's all imagination. And I will sit here with certainty and have an argument with my sister, which I just did recently. That's not how it happened, Angie.
Yep.
It happened just like that. And then you talk to Mom, and then Dad, and then I text my brother, and it's 4 against 1.
Yeah, we have. There are many studies done on witnesses in trials.
Yeah.
Eyewitness events are recreated, and people are just convinced they saw what they saw, and that's not at all what they saw.
Yeah.
And people who have quote unquote good memories make mistakes all the time. I have stories, to your point, exact same thing. Gorman family stories of lore. There's a few where, we will argue over some significant details in how it went down. And none of us will move off of our position. It's like, no, I'm right. And it's the 70s, so there's no videotape to check.
We're all right.
Man, that's tough. Long-term memory shuts down during sleep. the parts of the brain that transfer information to long-term memory, they don't operate while you're asleep. And that's why they say dreams will quickly fade after you wake up. You may have a lot of dreams in a night, but they're not going into your long-term memory. Fun fact, some of mine do.
Yeah, I'll remember dreams weeks after.
Yeah, I do. I have dreams. I have fragments of dreams from childhood that have haunted me ever since.
Girlfriend number 3, which would have been 19 years of age for me.
Yeah.
Still pops up in my dreams from time to time. Yeah. And it's not like a long-lost love, like I want to get a hold of her. I already Facebooked her. I don't have anything to do with her. But, because you wonder, hey, is my brain trying to tell me something? Did I miss something back then when I was 19 and trying to get the hell out of town so very quickly I forgot to say goodbye? No, but she pops up in my dreams every once in a while, like we're dating. Like she's been my wife for 50 years.
Some significant connection.
I dream about if the things that hit me in my dreams actually, if that was an indication of where my priorities lie, I would have been committed decades ago. I will have dreams where everybody I've ever met is in the cast member for tonight's play. Basically, it's just a matter of which scenes I pull up.
They say that we're about 5 years away. Legitimately, I've read this in many different sources. The most recent being Popular Mechanics. Actually, had a great article on it. We're within 5 years of being able to accurately record our dreams.
I saw that.
So if you thought,
no,
that's been my fantasy since I was a kid to invent a device that would be able to do that.
Hide those deep in your computer, man. Put a password on a password. You thought you had to hide your porn folder in your computer. Hide that dream folder. That's going to say too much. I think, but it's going to be fun to watch. I want to hack you guys' dream folders. What's going on in there? Is that what you really think about me?
If everybody can do that, it's not cool. But if only a few people can do it, they'll make a fortune in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Man, where does he get these ideas? I've often said, because there are different components of your brain and where memory works. My theory for years is that deja vu, which we've all experienced. You're just convinced you've had this experience before. Yeah. I believe it's when your brain misfires and it takes information that's entering your brain right now and it accidentally puts it in the memory bank. Yep. And so you think it's a memory, but it's not. It's actually happening for the first time, but you are damn sure convinced it's already happened.
It's like when you put the milk in the cupboard where the cereal goes.
Exactly.
It just ends up in the wrong spot, and you think it's a memory, but it's happening now. All right, I like that.
I put the house keys in Chauncey's treat bin the other day. We were looking all over for those keys, and Rosemary opened up the thing with his treats, and there they were.
Oh, I thought you were still waiting for him to poop out your keys.
No. That doesn't take long. That guy's busy. Look, Chauncey's got a lot of health concerns.
It's going right through.
Bowel maintenance and efficiency is not one of them.
Attaboy.
There is an instant playback feature in your brain. Humans have 3 forms of memory, as I said: short-term, long-term, and sensory. Sensory memory is your brain's equivalent to the instant playback feature. Both vision and hearing, your thalamus.
Oh, yeah. The old thalamus.
Thalamus can resend signals a few seconds after they were originally sent. So you can. This is just fascinating stuff to me. Because I am, like I said, I think about my brain all the time. Not like I'm not in awe of it. It's not the wonders of my brain. It's like, would you just stop? I mean, I'm just begging to get rid of all these files, right? And I just want to, because there are so many things that have happened in the last 24 years of my life I'd love to remember, and they're not there. It's like my hard drive filled up by 1999.
Right. You need to swipe it. You need the cloud, man.
I think I had, and I also had such a linear view of my life in terms of like the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Those numbers correlate. I remember everything, 87, 88, 89. I can immediately see every difference where I was, what was happening. Mm-hmm. Once we got to the 2002 or 3 or 4 or 5, that stopped. Like it wasn't a decade like 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, I can remember that. But then it's just like the aughts. And then what is it, the teens? Now that we're back in the 20s.
Yeah, now you said the 20s.
I'm dead serious. The 20s, I find that I have way better recall, specifically in order, chronologically and otherwise, than I did between 2001 and 2019.
A numerical thing.
Some say it's interdimensional, that we live parallel lives, and maybe some of them are just clearer or more significant than others.
I wonder what I'm doing in my other life right now. What are my other lives?
Way too much to think about now.
Yeah, we're going to file that.
That's some good stuff we smoked during the last break.
The average, okay, let's move on from the brain to the rest of the body. The average person blinks how many times a minute? What do you think? Take a guess.
A minute?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and say 180.
Oh, blinks? I blink?
Yeah.
Wow.
In a minute.
40.
20.
Oh, 20.
No, just not how many can you do, but how many do you actually blink? 20 times a minute.
If you've had your eye drops or not.
No,
because if you haven't had
I don't
your
have
eye
that
drops,
information.
It's the 9 o'clock hour.
Your ears never stop growing.
Yeah, that's true.
Tiny bits, but they're still growing.
That's why it doesn't take much pressure to rip. I just rip some off.
That's right. That's right. You
day.
just boom, just like a beer
rip
can.
a little bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Earwax is actually kind of like it's a type of sweat your body's putting out.
Yeah.
Which means that checks out because I sweat a lot and boy am I waxy.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I gotta clean them out constantly. Yeah.
It's got to happen. The average nose produces about a cup full of nasal mucus every day.
Speak for yourself.
A cup.
Wow. Speak for yourself. I'm up to around a quart.
Chauncey, a gallon.
Yeah. Chauncey's my boy.
I kid you not.
When Chauncey walks in here, it's like me waking up in the morning. Mm-hmm. Just hacking and
same noises.
Oh yeah.
If you could walk for 12 hours a day at your normal at pace, it would take the average person about 690 days to walk around the planet.
I just counted 10 blinks, and that was in 20 seconds. All right, I'm on the blink thing again.
You're just a blink. You're blinking way too much now. You're thinking about it.
Oh, blinky.
Okay, final two here. On the average, you fart enough in one day to fill a party balloon.
You do.
What?
We all do. We all do.
Party balloon.
Well, there's only one way to test that
What
theory.
kind of party?
On Tuesday, you guys bring in your party balloons.
I could say this: if you're going to involve draft beer, we can go right to hot air balloon.
What about one of those Mylar party balloons?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Happy birthday.
And then finally, you could fill the average bathtub every month with how much you pee.
Oh, yeah.
In a month. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That checks out.
I drink a lot more beer in the summer, so yeah. I think I'd have the tub overflowing in the summer.
Ew.
It's got a little froth on it, you know.
Yeah, sure. Nice. We're rolling along. It is Friday. Thank goodness. We've got a nice Labor Day weekend right in front of us. If you're just joining us, that's okay. We're going to let you know what you missed. It's the top 5 at 9. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. You're listening to the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zep, Tony, and Ryder on 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Friday. It is August 30th. It is Labor Day weekend. Good morning. Very glad to be with you at the beginning of a holiday weekend. Wishing everybody great weather called for in the Twin Cities and surrounding areas. If you're going to hit that fair for the last time, whatever you're planning to do, the weather will be your friend after not necessarily being the case as of late. With that, let's get right to the top 5 at 9. Rough weather last night, or yesterday afternoon, I should say, around 4 o'clock. I was here at KQ, and man, a monsoon rolled in. It was brutal, and I was driving home, like literally with the hazards on. It was so thick the rain was. It was the kind of rain where you honestly couldn't see cars if they didn't have their headlights on. Yeah. It was like, wow. So I just dealt with a lot of rain for a minute. There were severe thunderstorms, tornado warnings, and then as it turns out, actual tornadoes touched down around 5. 2 reports of tornadoes in the Isanti area, one along County Road 5 East. Second report north of North Branch, and then over in Hammond, Wisconsin, a tornado at about 6 p.m. yesterday. Yeah. So, yeah, that was a little bit more of an afternoon than we were anticipating.
And I'm just seeing this morning. Cottage Grove hit hard by severe storms. Yep. Mayor declares state of emergency.
Ooh.
I mean, when you're getting out the state of emergency, you've got in some of the video and pictures I'm looking at. A lot of us are pretty excited about a beautiful Labor Day weekend coming up. It's going to be a lot of cleanup out there.
Oh, yeah. Cottage Grove, lot of down power lines, a lot of tree damage, both private and public trees. So, man, sorry to hear that. I would imagine everyone's going to be working double time to get that cleared up and get the power back on.
Huge generation-old trees that are toppled over into people's yards, onto houses. Yeah, it's... Sorry to hear that, if you're dealing with that today.
That is a rough one. Number 4 on your top 5 at 9, the Gophers are back. College football came back last night, and the Minnesota Gophers took the field, and they lost to the North Carolina Tar Heels.
The offense seemed like they just were getting started. When did you put that offense in? Last couple of days?
It did not look like it didn't look like a well-oiled machine.
No, it didn't.
The highlights I saw. There was as time expired, a 47-yarder that would have won the game for Minnesota. It went wide right. They lost the game 19-17.
Yeah, North Carolina, not just a basketball program either. I mean, they've had a pretty stout football program coming along here the last...
Mac Brown back there after he was there. He left. He's back. There's no shame in losing to North Carolina.
No, but...
I guess not really. I'm not really sure. Latest Minnesota test... number 3 on your top 5 at 9. Minnesota testing shows roughly half of public school students in the state who took a standardized test last year were found to be reading at grade level.
Yeah.
As opposed to about half are right where they should be, is what that's saying. Standardized tests, 50% met or exceeded grade level standards in reading. 45% of students met or exceeded grade level standards in math.
Pretty soon they're not going to have the pandemic to blame it on anymore. Something's wrong in a lot of these school systems. It's not the amount of money they're spending.
No, it's not that. But boy, I as a longtime Southerner, I can tell you. Whew, watch if you trim those budgets. The money spent on schools where I come from, you see the results real fast. It's just one of those things of you look around. There's some shortcomings. It's a lot shorter in other places. I can assure you of that. Number 2 on your top 5 at 9. The Renaissance Festival, baby. It's happening in Shakopee. Get that codpiece off the shelf.
Oh, man.
Get some tights on and get ready to drink wine with some wenches.
Hurl some insults, hurl some tomatoes, throw back some brewskis.
Joust somebody, whether they're ready for it or not.
I mean, you just take a bunch of friends out there and just sit there and get drunk.
Yeah.
Like they used to do back in back in the 12th, 13th, 14th centuries.
Boy, I tell you what, do they ever bring back scurvy just for fun at these Renaissance festivals? Do we ever get that going?
You don't eat the fruit out there, you throw it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You throw the fruit enough.
And they do. They have what they'll do with the tomato toss out there is they got a bunch of old crappy rotten tomatoes out there, and you literally throw them at a guy that insults you.
Yeah, he
sticks his head through a hole.
That's great.
And I like to, especially back in my softball days when I had a laser, you'd see a kid out there, maybe, trying to hit him, and they're just insulting him. I'm like, here, give me a tomato.
Yeah.
Just whammo, right in the mush.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. The Renaissance Festival, it's a big one, I hear. 52nd season for the Minnesota Renaissance Festival. And they do set it up. It is a 16th century European village, 16 entertainment stages, 250 artisans, food and drinks. And again, tights and codpieces.
The
Let's
whole
go.
thing. Yeah, they don't half-ass anything in Minnesota. Fairs, Renaissance festivals, whatever you got,
No, they do not.
Ice fishing contest, get 10,000 people out on the lake.
Number 1 on your top 5 at 9, if he was planning to hit the Renaissance Festival, Jaron Hall, quarterback for the Vikings, might have new plans now. The Vikings let go of Jaron Hall yesterday. A quarterback who we have all said in very limited doses, looks like he's going to be able to play football in this league.
Yeah, he did.
But apparently not.
He'd have a series, but the next series he'd come out and he would throw a really stupid pick or he'd miss some open. He had a series here or there. He never had a game. It
felt like with his strong preseason performance, I thought he had sort of cemented himself in. I just assumed that. But no, he was relieved of duty. The team did sign quarterback Brent Rypien, who let's see, now on the Vikings, he bounced around. Where has he played before? He's just one of those names you hear and you're like, he's someone's backup. out of Boise State 5 years ago. Okay.
Well, let's hope we don't get to him.
No kidding.
We don't have to call on him. We'll find out about this Darnold. I was really surprised Darnold didn't get more reps in the preseason. Did I miss something there? Protecting him for what?
They don't want to hurt.
They know he's the starter, and they're just going to ride with that.
Wonderful. You've got a very healthy quarterback that has proven nothing and hasn't really worked with this offense in real game time yet. Okay. There are higher priorities. You protect Aaron Rodgers, you know, you protect Brock Purdy, or you protect some of the elite quarterbacks. You don't protect a guy coming into a new system. Well, we'll see how he does. I guess he'll learn on the field. We'll learn a lot about Sam Darnold.
Whenever you're ready, I'm ready. Just say the word.
Play ball.
All right, Sam.
Kevin O'Connell did say, I fully believe in Jaron Hall's future.
As a car salesman.
But said that Rippon represents a better short-term option. This move was really indicative of knowing what we went through last year. Okay. A little something they call coach speak.
Well, and Hall had a shot last year. Had a couple of shots, as I recall.
He did, and took a shot to the head. He had that one incredible drive to open a game and then got concussed, and that was it. Yeah. And then we brought in the Pastronaut, and then all things just went straight to hell. Yeah. Morning shout-out to our friends over in St. Anthony Park.
St. Anthony Park, just on your way to the State Fair from where we're sitting right now.
That's right. It's right there. Between us and Fried Pickles is St. Anthony Park. What's up, Tony?
How you doing, lad?
St. Anthony, St. Tony. I'm just thinking a lot of things over here that make me think of you. A lot of parts of this city.
Thanks for the flowers.
Oh man, come on! Every day is like flowers with you, Tony.
Speaking of, I think I used to buy my pot from a guy that lived in St. Anthony.
Yeah. Is that true?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, an old family house over there. You go over there.
Look him up.
It's kind of a hoarder's house a little bit. You'd go in and he'd have you sit down on a big stack of magazines. I'm like, all right, let's not. We don't have to sit, dude. You're just buying pot. But he wanted to hang out. You know that guy. You know that pot dealer. The one you didn't. No. Here, let me grab you a beer. Well, I don't have any beer. Hang on, let me. And he'd had something in a pitcher.
Where are you going, man?
Yeah, no. I'm like, just I know if we could just, cha.
Man. Yeah, we are not friends. This is a business transaction. If I had a revolving door on my house, you would already be gone.
Yeah, but you had to make him think you were friends, you know? It wasn't like going into a store or dispensary that may or may not open sometime here in the future in Minnesota. You know, it wasn't a business transaction. It was, you know how those old pot deals were. They're a little sketchy, a little slippery.
I was in Colorado a few years ago for my niece's wedding, and Rosemary and I walked into a dispensary, and we're getting this is wild. This is when it was like new, and you get gummies and all those things. And I just wanted to see. I hadn't been in one. Walk in, I'm like, this is fascinating. And I walked up to the guy. I said, he's like, what are you looking for? I said, I don't know. I said, first time in one of these. I said, just give me the rundown. And the guy, it was so funny because it was still like that transitional from I used to sell weed to my friends and now I'm working at the store. Because he goes, well, man, tell me what sort of like, what is it you're, and I had to stop. I was like, dude, no, like, I don't need the bro hang. Just do you have something that makes me feel stoned but still clear headed or whatever? I don't want to go to sleep.
You're bud tender, man.
Yeah, he was just, what'd you say?
You're bud tender.
I like that. I've never heard that. Bud tender. That's like a great alias. Bud tender. That would have been great back in the old hotel alias days. Yeah. Hey, Lenny Kravitz is going to be playing in Vegas in October. You could win a chance to see him. Blue Electric Light Las Vegas at Dolby Live at Park MGM. What about this? You could score a trip for two, including round-trip air, a 2-night stay at the Park MGM, and 2 premium tickets to see Lenny Kravitz in Vegas. All you got to do to enter for a chance to win is text the national keyword STYLE to 95819 right now. STYLE, 95819. Hey, just wanted to make sure everybody got that number.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, August the 30th. And in case you're wondering, we did just announce the first artist on our Mount Rushmore of classic rock. That was the Rolling Stones. That's a rock and roll band from London, England, Tony. London, England.
Where is that?
Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones.
It's on the other side of the drink, as they say.
They're like the old Muddy Water tune.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
A fine little blues band out of London.
That's exactly what they were. Here's a great name drop for you. I was talking to Jimmy Page one time. I did say, when did you first see the Stones? And he said, I saw them in 1963 when they were just playing straight blues, like at the Crawdaddy or something.
And walk down there.
And I said, what'd you think? And he said, I loved them. He said, they sounded just like those Chess records. Like, he goes, they really had it figured out. And it was like, oh my God, how are these guys sounding like an honest-to-God Chicago blues band?
Took the tube over.
He said, I liked them better when they were just doing blues than when they started writing their own songs, which, of course, I love all those old guys from all those, Keith is always ripping on Zeppelin. Pete Townsend's always ragging on the Beatles. They just all take shots at each other still.
A bunch of neighborhood kids.
That's exactly what
just
it is.
messing with each other, yeah.
It's no different than like any high school that has 3 bands. They all hate each other. That's exactly what all those guys in London were like. Super competitive.
Like our D-League softball teams around the neighborhoods.
Exactly right.
Just trash-talking each other.
That's exactly what it is to this day. Still just trash-talking. It just makes me feel like, hey, they're not so different than us.
Yeah, probably, except for they live in a castle.
There is that. Or 2.
Or 2.
Or 3. Fun fact that's not fun at all. Boy, if you are a fan of deli meats, and I know most of us are, Boar's Head is in a bad way right now. We reported on a listeria breakout with Boar's Head meat about a month ago, and it's still going on, apparently.
I mean,
inspectors at a Boar's Head facility in Virginia found all kinds of problems. Heavily discolored meat buildup, meat overspray on the walls, flies going in and out of pickle vats, and black patches of mold on a ceiling.
Meat overspray? Wow. Did you say meat overspray?
Meat overspray.
Got a little...
Mold, insects, liquid dripping from ceilings, meat and fat residue on walls, floors, and equipment. They have closed this one plant in Virginia. Yeah. They said there was blood puddled on the floor and a rancid smell in the cooler. Not trying to turn anyone's stomach, just saying there are more recalls going on. 57 people have been hospitalized and 9 deaths attributed to listeria in Boar's Head.
Sounds like a venison operation out of St. Croix Falls. A buddy of mine used to run in the garage in the fall, but not Boar's Head. That's my go-to. I don't know why, but just somewhere along the line, when I go to the deli, I'm like, well, Boar's Head, I'm counting on that. It's going to be tasty.
Name dropper?
I know I am, but, that, and it's most of the deli section when you go in there. You're like, well, I like the Boar's Head. Give me the Boar's Head. Give me a pound of the Boar's Head. But I'm laying off the Boar's Head.
I always had a weird Boar's Head thought, which is if you notice, in New York City, if you're ever there, there's a deli on every corner, right?
Yeah.
And all 9 of every 10, it's just Boar's Head signage, Boar's Head posters,
Boar's Head too big,
Boar's Head trucks everywhere. And all I ever thought I've thought about in the past when I noticed that is, who does Boar's Head have what do they know?
Yeah. Cue the Sopranos theme.
How do you corner the deli market in New York City? I'm like, I don't want to know what's going on
the
there.
Little meat overspray.
Yeah.
Got another good band name.
Right, exactly.
That's a really good band
My mom
name.
actually left me a message pertaining to that, and just, Tony, stay away from the Boar's Head, and hung up.
God bless her.
That's awesome.
Still looking out for you.
I thought you were going to say she gave you a message about the meat overspray. I was like, boy, that was fast. She's listening right now.
Caught you right at the counter putting the boys' school lunches together, too, with the Boar's Head. Oh, well,
please.
all right. Sorry, boys. PB&J's today.
If you remember anything I've ever said, watch out for the meat overspray.
Oh, my God. And the walls and ceiling. That's some serious overspray. So that's an overspray of meat.
I guess so.
It's spraying too much.
I'm just curious as to how are we spray? What is the spray technique for meat? Who sprays meat?
Yeah, it's a meat sprayer.
Anybody? You guys got some meat spray?
Unbelievable.
Who makes a good meat spray?
Who does make a good
meat spray cleanup on aisle 4? Meat spray cleanup on aisle 4.
You spray a little more meat on my
Oh, my God.
Wheat sandwich here.
Next thing you know, we're going to be talking about meat splay, and that's a whole other set of kettle of fish.
No.
I tell you what, I've had enough. Let's look back. On this day in 1979, during the United States Open, that would be Tennis Open, there was a nationally televised match live on TV, Ely Nastase and John McEnroe. It was a 4-set battle to the death. What? McEnroe won the match. During the match, a whole lot of things happened. Ely Nastase was held in default by the chair umpire at one point. The referee came in and overruled the chair ump and reinstated Nastase into the match. At one point, Nastase and McEnroe were cussing each other out over the net. Play was delayed at one point by 20 minutes because fans... McEnroe's a New York kid. This is in literally his backyard. They erupted in anger. They were tossing beer cans and other pieces of trash at Nastase on the court. John McEnroe, as I did say, not that anyone cares, actually won the match. But it was a great night for American television to watch John McEnroe just scream at everybody.
McEnroe at the Open.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
That's fun.
It never gets old.
You suppose over there in Wimbledon, they're just abhorred, just horrified, rather. Yeah. It's abhorred behavior. They're like,
abhorrent behavior.
There it is.
Met John McEnroe at a gig in the 90s. He showed up at a Black Crowes gig out on Long Island, and literally just walked. He's John McEnroe, and if you think about it, in the early 90s, he was one of the most famous people on the planet.
Sure.
And so he was a huge fan of rock music, goes to concerts all the time, and he knows all the promoters, and he just walks backstage with a lamb. Wherever he goes, he's got credentials. But at a Black Crowes gig, we're playing out on Long Island, and the gig ends, and I'm in the hallway outside the dressing room, and I'm like, that's John McEnroe. Yeah. And he walks right up, hey, man, I love the show. My name's John. I'm like, yeah, I know who you are. I bring him in the dressing room. Everyone's like, you can see everyone at the same time, like, that's John McEnroe. Everybody, band, crew, everyone sees him and stops for a half second. I mean, he's that famous for all those years. And then we gave him a ride back to the city. We're like, he goes, where you go? What's next? Oh, we're going back to the city. Oh, can I catch a ride with you? We're like, yes, John McEnroe, you can. He gets on the bus. He's just hanging. And I'm like, this guy just does. You just get to go to gigs, and every band you meet is happy to have you there.
Yeah.
And to this day, that's what he does. He just does whatever he wants. He's John McEnroe.
You can't be serious, man. You cannad be serious.
And honestly, just couldn't be a more charming, affable, just a great guy.
Yeah.
Awesome dude.
Get him out on the court.
I had hung out with him for years, many times at many gigs. And then about 8 years ago, I went to see him actually play tennis. And I walked into the dressing room, the locker room at this arena before the tennis match. And he's standing there in his whites holding a tennis racket. I've known this guy for 20 years. And I literally went, oh, my God, you're John McEnroe. And he looked at me and goes, what? I go, I've never seen you holding a tennis racket. And it really freaked me out. I was like, oh, wait, you actually are him. Holy crap. It's just a weird thing. It was like, wow.
Wasn't he married to Patty Smythe?
Still is.
Oh, he still is.
Been married forever. His first wife was Tatum O'Neal.
Yes, I remember that.
He and Patty Smythe have been together, and she's awesome. Cool as hell.
No goodbye to you?
Not yet.
All right.
On this day in 1987, the Minnesota Twins beat the Milwaukee Brewers 10-6. A guy for the Twins named Kirby Puckett had a bit of a day, 6 for 6 with 2 home runs. Kirby Puckett had just over 200 home runs in his career, and I'm going to say half of those were really important.
Yeah. Clutch.
I mean, seriously, the guy's like, yeah, I'm not going to hit too many dingers unless we need to.
Yeah, clutch at the plate, and Twins fans will remember pretty clutch in the outfield as well.
Kinda.
He'd go up and take one away every once in a while, just when you needed one taken away.
Hey, dude. Yeah. Twins fans don't remember that nearly as well as Braves fans. Yeah. Trust me when I say Atlanta Braves fans remember Kirby Puckett a lot more intensely than Twins fans.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, you're going to rob that home run and then hit one on your own?
That's right.
Bastard.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.